Welcome to In Moderation,
the show where we give you a moderate dose of info, sarcasm, and we already know we're not approved.
Mama, ooh.
Oh.
Didn't mean to make you cuss. If I'm not home again in time for bedtime, don't ground me, don't ground me, or my social life is over.
Our Gen Z listeners are going to have no idea what you just did. They're going to be so confused.
That's okay. Leave them confused. They'll come back for more, right?
Hopefully we have enough of a slightly older audience. They're like, oh, yay, good reference.
No, people are just going to be like, oh my God, what's this singing? Turn it off.
It's not a singing podcast. Anyway, that makes sense. But, we got Momma Cusses on the podcast. Just last week, we're like, who we should get. Who we should get on the podcast. And then who we got, who I just said. How you doing over there?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Oh, just laid back. It's like we're recording at like 9:00 Eastern time. So we're all just very chilled out and just ready to talk about who knows?
I'm still pretty sure that's the morning for Liam still.
Listen, I go to bed at like 7 in the morning. Okay. I wake up at like 3, 4 in the afternoon. It's not good for my health. It's terrible. 0 stars. Don't recommend, but it's my life. And this is what I do. Anywho, so yeah, I kind of just wanted to start off and get into it. Momma Cusses, did you recently start doing videos about like food and nutrition, or have you been doing that like all along? Like, what's the deal?
I've been doing that all along. I think the reason they sort of caught is I was doing recipe videos for a long time.
Okay.
Quick and easy meals. Like,
all right.
I'm not worried about the nutrition, just more, look, we fed the fucking kids.
I like it.
But
that is best.
As I have been on my own, I'm going to use a term that I hate. I hate it. I've been on my own health journey.
The health journey. I thought you were going to say moist. That's usually what people seem to hate.
I'm a fan of Moist.
Okay, good. Whenever I mention a video, people
is a
are like,
Canadian band that if you've not listened to, go listen to them.
I did not. Is that true? Because that seems like something you could make up very easily.
The head man for it is David Usher. He's one of Canada's best artists.
Interest, but they named their band Moist.
They named their band Moist. Yep.
That is.
Now, see, I have a theory about moist. Moist is actually a good thing. The word may make people uncomfortable, but things that are supposed to be moist are good. Moist cake,
right? It's food, right?
It's when things get damp. That's a problem.
Right.
Damp cake. Disgusting.
When you're like sweating a lot, you're like, I'm moist. I'm damp.
I'm damp. Damp. My socks are damp. I mean, just think about wearing damp socks. That's horrifying. Nobody wants that.
Moist socks sounds much better. It sounds like they were in like one of those warmers,
like some sort of spa. Yeah.
A moist towelette or a damp towel. Which one do you want?
I listen, I have no problems with moist, but I'm sure some people right now are cringing outside of their bodies.
Like, your drop-off rate is going to be insane.
I know, right at the beginning. I'm not listening to this one. Fuck that. See you later. I'll come back when you're not talking about that horrific word. Anyway, where were we? I don't remember. You were making recipe videos then.
I was making recipe videos. I had a whole cook-off with Tori Phantom, and we did the most ridiculous things. We would give each other 3 ingredients that had nothing to do with each other, and our task would be to essentially chopped kitchen it and make an edible dish. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. And then TikToked all over it and just stopped showing it to anyone ever.
But
of
course.
as I've been losing weight and loving myself more about it, not because I've lost weight. You can't hate yourself into change. But as I've been losing weight, people have noticed. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I like protein. 'Tis the year of fiber.
It is the year of fiber. Yes, we need to mention that on every episode now.
Look, the eggs have always been my comfort food, so I'm just leaning into it now.
I've never heard of that as a comfort food for people, but I
That's
mean,
because it's not a comfortable food. It's
there's-
disgusting, but I
there's
like
very
it.
few. There's worse things to fall into than eggs. Oh, I can't stop
Yeah,
eating them.
yeah.
That's great. So
So
yeah, you've just been doing it for a while because it seems like recently, like I don't know, you did one video that was like fucking, hey, fitness influencers, stop calling shit other shit. Essentially, like
I
stop,
hate that. I
stop.
hate it. I'm a big fan of swaps. I absolutely go halvesies on most of the time. If we have spaghetti, my kids just know that half of those noodles are going to be zucchini noodles. When I
Okay.
make chili, I add cauliflower rice because it just blends in with everything. Cauliflower doesn't taste like anything when you add it to stuff.
Right.
Especially make it small enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they just know that that's going to be in it. We have broccoli sprinkles with everything.
Right. I've heard people
Broccoli
saying sprinkles. I like that. You know, you just add some
Yeah,
sprinkles on
you
top
just
of it.
cut off the very ends of it. I
Yeah.
steam the rest of the stem and feed it to my dogs, but I'll just cut off the very ends, and so we can sprinkle it on stuff, and we're getting all of the nutrition benefits. And even
like
the
that.
diehards are like, "Well, you ruin it if you cook it." You don't. They can't even complain. Like, I am feeding my kids raw broccoli. Shove it.
Oh gosh. But yeah, in that video, you're like, yeah, you can't do you can't say like, you know, a sweet potato's not a cake or some shit like that, you know,
No,
those.
you
And I got just tagged like 100 times, like at least. So I was like, okay, let me do this one. And then you did another video talking about, you know, like, teaching kids having, you know,
Good
having
food,
kids
bad
and
food,
having
yeah.
good food versus bad food. That's sort of what is good food, what is bad, you know, trying to.
Well, and part of that is what I do with my content is I very much set out to I want to be the resource that I wished I'd had when I chose to parent my children differently than how I was raised, right?
I like that, yeah.
Right.
And so much of what I have struggled with is I am, and I say without shame or judgment, I am a fat person. How do I raise my children with a healthier relationship with both food and their bodies when I myself am still driving that struggle bus? And so I figured if, you know, I've got these really good concepts. I know it's working. I know it is effective because I hear people like you too say all the time, yeah, this is how I communicate. This is what we talk about in actual science communities. This is what we talk about in actual training communities. Okay, so I'm using the right language, but it feels really important that people see a fat person also say these. It doesn't diminish when straight size, when healthy, when fit people say these things, but there's some power behind it when you are also a fat, hearing a fat say, you can have a good relationship with food, even if you've got more weight on your frame than you would prefer, or is arguably healthy. Because some of us do have way too much weight on our frame, and it is coming at the cost of our health. Others of us have what people perceive as too much weight in our frame, but our doctors are like, nah, you're good.
Yeah. But you know, also I'd love to like kind of get into what you talked about in that video because I think it was really great. But also I just wanted to mention before that I do see that a lot from people who, let's say they were in a weight loss journey and they lost a bunch of weight, lost 100 plus pounds, something like that. When somebody else has that much to lose, it's helpful to, I think, hear things from them like, this helped me.
Yeah.
This is what kind of worked for me. So like it is kind of a struggle for me, like getting out there. Like I've always been like the fucking twig, holy shit. Like I was 130 pounds at like 6'2", like in high school, you know, just like got made fun of for that. So I don't
definitely didn't play on the football team.
Holy sports, my God. I know I've said it a bunch of times. The only time I ran was by pressing A. Like that's literally it. I was not an athlete at all. Lanky and awkward as shit. But yeah, like I don't know what it's, you know, I don't know what it's like. And it's like when I talk about food, you know, like I try and just give general recommendations, but I'm like, listen, I could just eat like only processed foods and I'd probably still remain my same weight just because that's my genetics so much. Like it's not, it's, you know, your body weight isn't solely determined by your genetics, but it plays a major factor.
It's also determined by how much you shout.
The amount of energy I burn through all that stuff. But then, you know, TikTok drives me to that. So it's not really here nor there. And so like, I think it's nice to hear from other people who are, you know, in different size bodies so that they can add their perspective on it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to get into what you were talking about, like the good food versus the bad food, like how you describe that to your kids. I think people should, if they haven't watched that video, it's like the top video pinned to my profile. People really like that one. So like, I'd love to get into that.
We have good food and bad food in the house. Absolutely. And good food is anything that is safe to eat. Bad food is food that is spoiled, rotten, you're allergic to, or you genuinely dislike. I genuinely dislike tomatoes. That's a bad food for me.
What about ketchup?
I don't like ketchup.
Okay.
Listen,
anything tomato related, tomato soup.
No.
Okay.
I am anti-tomato. I am to a point now where after as long as I have existed on planet Earth, particularly in America, where like ketchup is lifeblood to many, many people. Ketchup and ranch.
It looks like blood. You
South.
can just mix them. I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I am to a point now where if I'm served something with tomatoes, I'll like pick off the ones I can see like real sly, and then like I can eat it, but I'm not going to be happy about it, and I'm probably going to go get Taco Bell after.
Not even like salsa? Like you can't even do like a salsa?
I will do salsa sometimes.
That's fair. Okay, now we feel better. Now we're good.
No, but good food and bad food are one of the things that really fucked with my head as a kid.
And for so many people, like that's the thing I hear all the time.
Yeah.
Like they still struggle with years and years later.
Yeah. Well, and I grew up in the 90s, so heroin chic was in. Jenny Craig was everyone's bestie. We had Snackwells and 100-calorie packs.
I remember the Snackwell, like the cookies. I'd eat a bunch of those that I really like.
No fat. And then we all had the Hershey squirts after, because I mean it was basically oil and like aspartame, which does not do good things for your bowel. By the way, it just doesn't. Don't combine those things. Do you remember those stupid Oleo chips?
Yes. Okay. So Olestra, I think like there's other things. So there's Olestra. So if Olestra basically makes you malabsorb fat. So like it, binds to it and you can't absorb it in your digestive system, but that still has to go somewhere. It can't just disappear. And so basically you would just poop out the fat, and like you just have these really fatty poops, which people for some reason didn't like. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever, to each their own. And it was so, what was so strange to me about that, I don't want to get too much into it, but they were like, make sure you follow a low fat diet with this. But in the commercials, they were always like, I just sprinkle it on my pizza and I'm fine. I'm like, no, these two things are conflicting. Please do not just put it. Oh gosh.
And especially don't do it right before you run a marathon.
Oh,
or maybe do. It kind of depends on.
Just lean into it.
Yeah.
Are you running because you're a masochist? I'm quite convinced many people who are running because they are masochists.
Tommy.
We talked last week with Tommy. He got into running, and God bless him. I love that for him.
Is he one of those ultra marathoners?
I don't think, no, his wife got him into it, and he's doing more marathons, and he's getting into upper, like the more marathon. I don't know what the fucking other marathons, running, long run.
He puts one foot in front of the other really fast, and that's all we know.
Long run bad. Long run bad, me no like. That's my take on the whole situation.
See, I have a love-hate relationship with running. First, I blew my knee playing tennis in high school. So that's never been the same.
No, never is.
But running, being the size that I am and having lost the weight that I've lost, it's difficult to track. But if you were to do a deep scroll into my content, you could see when I was probably at my largest near 350 pounds. I'm now down below 290. Which is still a lot on the frame, but when you lose a lot of weight,
60 pounds of, that's significant.
You have loose skin. And so now when I try to run, my entire torso is just giving me a round of applause the whole time, which is both encouraging and horrifying. Yeah. So I try
more
not
the latter
to run.
Than the former. That does not sound.
It's disturbing. It's not.
So
it makes you really self-conscious.
Have you found other, maybe some alternatives that
Yeah,
don't?
basically, if I would stop trying to run on the treadmill in my regular clothes, if I would put on my proper compression work gear, it
always
would be
helps.
fine. But I'm lazy. And look, bitches, I'm on the fucking treadmill, all right?
I'm lazy before I work out. Isn't it? Listen, I go to my gym and I park in the closest spot and I get out and I look at myself and I'm like, who am I? Why? I'm going to the gym and I park and I made sure I got the one that was 6 feet closer. Like, why is, yeah, I don't know.
Do you egg the car if they take your parking spot?
Egg
Are you
the
that
car?
bad?
What am I, just carrying around random eggs with me? I'm not Momma Cusses here. I don't just carry around egg.
You don't carry around eggs to just egg a car when it's in your parking spot?
I'm assuming maybe you carry hard
All
boiled
the things
eggs,
I've been told about America are wrong.
What is going on in Canada?
Oh, God,
Is
too
that
much.
why eggs are so expensive there in like
why-
2021?
Yes, that's exactly why eggs
This
are
is why
so
I
expensive.
ignore Canada completely and just I assume they're America minus or something. I don't know.
America minus.
America minus.
America plus lava, you mean?
Gosh. But yeah, I mean, so yes, so you got the foods,
Yeah.
moldy foods, rotten foods. Like,
Rotten
yeah,
foods,
okay. So those
are
are
bad
great.
foods. Instead, what we do is we have categories that help us decide what the value is for us. All food has value. All food is fuel. There are respected studies of people who ate nothing but Hostess and KFC and McDonald's and done well, paying attention to macros, paying attention to caloric intake.
Mm-hmm.
They lost
Yep.
weight. Their blood pressure was better. Their cholesterol was not higher. So all food has value. Now, did he feel like absolute shit and was constantly hungry? Yeah. I mean, you're not getting the satiety.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just eating simple sugars and fats all day, like, ooh, tasty. Now I'm hungry 10 minutes later and I just sit here and wait.
So we categorize things as things that are good for our body. And that is the high nutrition, the dense nutrition, all the things that we count about the macros, how much fiber is in it, how much protein is in it, how much refined sugar is in it, things that are good for our bodies. And I will elaborate. My kids are currently obsessed with carrots. I'm concerned they're going to turn orange because
Excellent.
I told them
Carrots are awesome.
Carrots help you see in the dark.
Okay. Keratin. Well, I will say, so I did a video on this keratonemia, which is the build when you get excess.
When you turn into Trump.
When you turn a little orange. Yeah. Well, the thing, I was like, this sounds interesting. I kind of want to try it. But then I looked into it and it not only happens, it happens more prominently in places where skin is thicker. So like the palms of your hands, the bottoms of your feet, anywhere where skin is thicker. And I was like, oh, now I'm not so sure. I just wanted a lovely hue without all the sun. But now I don't know. And plus, I mean, I think you have to eat like 10 carrots, like 10 large carrots a day, roughly, for that to happen. But anyway, yeah. So, hey, if they love carrots, I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of things you could do with that. Like you can add, hummus or whatever it is.
They will eat, man, if I hand them a carrot stick, they will try just about any dip or sauce.
Nice.
The only way they agree to hummus is with carrots. Something is magical about the combination of carrots and hummus. A pita chip? Absolutely not. This is not how we consume hummus. Carrot only. All right. You know what? I'm not going to be mad. Eat it up, kids. So those are things that are good for our body. We discuss how protein is really good for building muscles. My son is obsessed with the Hulk. So every time he's like, I don't want to finish my chicken. Well, you don't have to if your body is telling you you're full, but all of that chicken, that's muscle. And when you eat that, it helps you grow your muscles. And if you want to be big and strong like the Hulk,
yeah, or if you have a kid from the 40s, you could talk about Popeye. Like you could bring up all sorts of
which weirdly he ate spinach, which isn't really going to do much for muscle building.
So I mean,
regular.
Spinach is actually like what 50% protein or something. Like it's maybe really? I think it's over 50% protein.
It does actually have a lot of protein.
It actually
you would need to consume so much of it.
You would. I mean, so that I hear that a lot from like especially like vegan community is like broccoli has more protein per calorie than beef, and it's like yes.
It's also going to make me
But-
fart for the next 3 days. So
How much broccoli are you going to eat? I mean, a serving of broccoli is like 45 calories and like 4 or 5 grams of protein. Are you going to eat 500 calories of just broccoli? You probably wouldn't. That wouldn't go so well. So yeah, so I like that protein. I'm sure you talk about fiber and other
we talk
nutrients,
about
stuff.
calcium, we talk about the micronutrients. Like this is what all this is good for. So if it's one of those sort of, the internet's not going to get mad at me if I tell them that I fed my kids this. That's probably a food that's good for your body.
Right.
Like that's a terrible litmus test, but it's valid in some ways. And then we have foods that are good for our brains. So those are things that a lot of people would consider treats. In old school language, it would be the bad food.
Yeah, the
so
junk
chips
foods
and candies and junk foods.
Yeah.
Those are good for our brain. And again, with the science, there's really good science that the amount of serotonin and dopamine people will dump into their own systems when they are offered a favorite comfort food. If they're a chocoholic and they're like, would you like this small piece of Hershey bar? Man, all the good feelings just flood your gray matter. So many good, happy chemicals are like, yes, I want the chocolate.
Yeah.
So why would we, if food is fuel, all food fuels something. And if there's very little nutritive value to the food, it's probably giving you good, happy chemicals in your brain.
Yeah.
And again, moderation is key.
Of course.
We're not going to have tons and tons of it, but we're also not going to demonize things. Well, it's not making me stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's making you happy. Good God, have some joy.
I think a lot of these like kind of grocery store walkers have just eliminated joy. Like they kind of just get rid of that. And then everything becomes like has to have a purpose. Like, why do you eat this? Because I like it. No, that's not a good reason. No,
Liam, it is your fault. I walked into my Walmart and I saw a man in basketball shorts and no shoes. And I immediately went, oh my God, he's going to be bitching. I think he was just hanging out. Like, I think that's just the outfit he chose for his Walmart outing today. But like, it was my instinct to like, should I punch him? Do I need to follow him around and just wait for him to say really
aisle?
stupid shit and just like donkey kick the balls?
Is he gonna complain about seed oils? Like, what's going on?
So, and then there's this magical third category, which is good
Tide
for
Pods.
They're so colorful.
It's good for both. So for us, favorite foods, and it's not true for everyone, we really, really love frozen grapes rolled in Kool-Aid.
I've seen this. People have been tagging me in these sorts of videos that I have been meaning to try.
I'm not a huge fan of them. For best impact, you use the Kool-Aid that doesn't have the sugar already in it.
Right.
I even when I do that, I still sprinkle just a little bit of stevia or Splenda in there because it's
spinach or broccoli. Sorry, broccoli.
Broccoli sprinkles.
A little bit of broccoli sprinkle.
It's too tart for me personally, but I don't like sour things, so that's not surprising. If you like sour things, straight up Kool-Aid on grapes and then shove them in the freezer, that's fantastic. My kids are currently obsessed with yogurt pops, which is literally, I bought a freezer mold for popsicles and I just fill it with yogurt. Sometimes if I'm feeling bougie and I've just gone to the grocery store, I'll shove some real fruit in there too.
There you go. I like what's your yogurt? I'm what they call a yogurt connoisseur. You know, like they have sommeliers. I'm a yogurt A. So what kind of yogurt?
Yogurt A.
So I typically feed my kids Chobani. We prefer Greek.
Usually.
But right now, it happened to be on sale and I am a sale chaser. It's just Dannon. It's just the regular boring stuff we've had forever. That's what's in the freezer right now. I'm actually very, very, very sad. On two fronts. I used to love yogurt and then I got pregnant with my first child and I lost it. And the pregnancy hormones messed with I cannot stand yogurt. It tastes disgusting to me. And like I know it's good.
You know what's funny? My wife when she was pregnant, she hated yogurt. Like she loved yogurt before, hated yogurt, and now she's back to it. Like she'll eat it again. So she got it back. But yeah, she also really didn't like yogurt. That the smell of it even just she didn't even like it.
It was the smell. It's probably just because it's a sour milk. I mean, it's culture.
There's science behind it. We'll call it there's science. Who fuck knows?
There's some reason, but yeah, I never got yogurt back. And then most recently I'm not going to lambast anything because it's working for many people. I was one of the people who I went on semaglutide and I did not do well.
Interesting. Yeah, what was your experience with it?
I have mild gastroparesis.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. So it did not go well. And I know that the internet's full of, well, you could, no. I was fully made aware that these were potential side effects for taking semaglutide when I am not a diabetic. I'm not a pre-diabetic.
Right.
It was an attempt at helping myself control the food noise.
Right. Yeah.
It's always been a challenge. It's a challenge for a lot of people who are plus size, but it did not go well. I have a beef sensitivity and very, very slow gastric emptying.
Okay.
So it messed with me a little bit, which I guess it did help me lose weight.
Yeah, that's how I feel like. Okay, so that's how I feel about whenever these fucking influencers come out with the apple cider vinegar. I'm like, listen, I've used apple cider vinegar. That shit works because I feel like dog shit. Like I drink it and I'm like, oh God, it just upsets my stomach. And then I don't want to eat anything for a while. Would that be an eating disorder? Maybe. But like definitely the fucking apple cider vinegar. I see it so often. Anywho. But yeah, I love that idea that you have like, these different categories. And I also like that in the video. I think if I remember correctly in the video, it said, sugar also is not poison. Like sugar, you need sugar. Sugar is fine.
And that's actually sugar, especially by way of fruits, especially naturally occurring sugars. Not all added sugar is bad. Some things are purely inedible if you don't add some fucking sugar to it.
You ever bitten into 100% cacao bar? Fuck me. That stuff tastes horrible.
Oh, God.
It's got to be a universal experience. Your mom had that like Hershey's cocoa bin.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, oh, chocolate.
You take a spoonful thinking it's going to... And then you suffocate,
I put it into milk.
Choke. You
and
start
I was like,
over salivating.
Oh, so
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, sugar. But I guess
sugar is not. We actually consider what we call natural sugar, and nothing will trigger me faster into a blind rage than going the chemicals. It's all chemicals.
I'm just, it's so exhausting. It's so, and what, okay,
you
know what?
Yeah.
Can I just say what annoys me fucking more than anything is that, like, I hear people say this in these videos and I'm like, okay, people have to be calling that out. But no, the comments, there's just this fucking side of social media in general, TikTok, where people are like, yeah, fucking, they're always putting chemicals in our food. FDA bitches not doing shit. And I'm just like, it's the whole chemical.
Well, and every time that argument comes up, they're always like, well, margarine's one molecule away from plastic. Okay, and water is one molecule away from acid, you dumb...
Fucking, I love me a seltzer. You know what I wouldn't like? Carbon monoxide. I'm fine with carbon dioxide. Holy shit. It drives me. Fucking,
man.
What was the joke? But no, was it Maroon 5 is one atom away from Maroon 4? I don't know.
There's a joke like that. That's the joke, yep.
I just like that. I have to bring that up when I hear it because I like that. Anywho.
But no, we actually consider sugar good for our body. As long as we're consuming sugar the thing made the sugar all by itself. No one had to add anything. That is good sugar because our brains literally run off that.
Yes. And that people ask me all the time, like, what should I limit my sugars to? And my response is always the same. I am less concerned with eat less than this amount of sugar and more like, are you getting enough fiber? Are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough of these other things, micronutrients, fruits, vegetables, whatever?
Well, and I think that's left over from Boomer and Gen X and millennials going, well, the only way to fix this is detract, subtract, remove.
Yeah.
If we have a problem with our nutrition, we have to remove the bad things.
Yeah.
But really, thank God, Gen Z and this new generation of nutritionists, dietitians, fitness trainers, and experts, they're all saying, no. Eat what you want, add what you need.
Yeah, exactly. I love that phrase. I just... like I recently did a video where somebody tagged me and was like, yeah, this smoothie is clearly not healthy, but it looks good. I'm like, it has 2 Oreos, but you added banana, you had like, cocoa powder, peanut butter powder. It's just try and add other things to it. So anybody out there, if you're wondering like how much sugar, just make sure you're getting the other fucking shit in. Make sure you're doing the other things that are healthy. Stop concerning yourself.
Like adding
yourself
broccoli
so much.
sprinkles.
I don't care.
Look, it goes into everything. I'm just saying.
So yeah, and then yeah, I mean, I like the idea that you kind of have this this category that it's both things. I like
and that's sort of the goal food.
Yeah.
Is there food that makes your brain really happy? You really enjoy it, and is providing what your body needs. It's fueling your body well, and it's one small part of an overarching conversation. Because as my littles are currently 5, but with my oldest, she's 16. So she is a cross country runner. She is a distance track, and she throws discus and shot put. So she's a little all over the place. And
already more athletic than Liam.
Oh yeah. Well then I was at that age. Holy shit. I did track one day. I quit immediately. Go ahead.
No, again, I don't know how we talk a lot about genetics when we're talking about health. I am confused as to how my genetics combined with the other genetics to create my child, because that math ain't not mathin'.
I mean, it's a bunch of stuff just gets thrown out there. A couple things stick, and then you have a child.
I have an athletic child who knows how to move her body. Her mother and her birth father do not. But I fall over in flat, stable ground on a still day. I have reached the age where I routinely have to give my body parts a pep talk. Just like I'm walking and I feel that weak knee going, don't you fucking dare give out right now.
We're almost there. We're so close.
But are you at the point where it predicts the weather?
I have a weather knee. I have a trick shoulder because I had a stupid human party trick that I did way too much when I was like 12. So now my shoulder is just bad. And so now when I'm reaching above my head, I'm like, does you stay in?
I just imagine you walking down the street and you're yelling at one knee, don't you start, and then you're yelling at the other knee, no, don't you tell me that a storm's coming.
Don't you backtalk me.
I have to say, so I want to ask you, Rob, like I'll give a couple of mine. What do you have a combination food that you find enjoyable? You know what I fucking love. That's so good.
He asked you a question and then promptly did not provide you space dates.
No. I'm saying I'm going to go first to give him time to think about it. That's the thing. That's the Canadian reply. You need more time to think about it. It's fine. It's colder up there.
So I'm really from Canada, eh?
I love like nuts for me, like the Blue Diamond. For those things for me are just like so good. They got all the different wasabi and soy sauce is so good, and they've got the sweet Thai chili. Oh man, forget about it. So the only problem is in the little tubs, and I just kind of keep going for it, and I end up eating like I think a tub is like 1,200 calories, like 1,100 calories somewhere in there, and I can definitely get close to eating a whole tub. But like, yeah, it's just I think that's such a great idea, finding those little foods, and then figuring out, okay, how can I add these to my diet? And I think, even just looking up, if you have one of those foods you really like, look up, it's fucking 21st century people. Internet exists. All right. You go on Pinterest, you go on Google, you look up recipes with, and then whatever food that you really enjoy. And you can find a ton of recipes. Try something. You're probably going to fail it. I do all the time. You see my videos, this shit, like recipe reviews. I'm like, no, this did not work, but I gave it my best attempt. And then you get better from there. And that's what's important. Anyway, Rob, Canadian answer. Go ahead.
Well, I think actually, for me, it's something we've talked about a lot, which is the frozen mixed vegetables, or in my case, sometimes the fresh mixed vegetables. Like I'm a huge vegetable person. And so I love finding ways to mix those into everything, especially with some broccoli sprinkles
frozen?
now. I will eat them frozen, but I also live rurally, so I get fresh vegetables more often than frozen. That's how Liam reacts too.
Listen, his
We live in
his
America.
closest
We get
town
whatever
is
Walmart gives us.
yeah. Well, yeah. Rob's closest town is 600 miles away, and they have one brand of diet soda. So I'll still take what I have.
But they
or
have
anything.
ketchup chips. I bet they fucking have ketchup chips.
I sent Liam some
You
ketchup
sent
chips.
me those. They're way sweeter than I realized. I was like, whoa.
I love those for you, Canada. You can keep them.
Yeah.
I will pose no challenge to your appreciation of ketchup chips. All right. I will say your all dressed slaps, but your ketchup chips.
All dressed.
Good.
All dressed is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what that even really means. All dressed. I know it's tasty.
I don't think the Canadians know what that means.
It doesn't.
Just
No
eat
one
it.
will ever know. It's like how to spell Fahrenheit. No one knows. We all just guess.
We don't know. If autocorrect doesn't fix it, I'm just going to write the capital F and hope for the best.
If autocorrect wasn't a thing,
At this
would
point,
be
I just
so
write
screwed.
freedom.
That's why I say
Freedom
freedom
units.
units. That's why I started that, because I cannot spell Fahrenheit. But yeah, so I mean, I know you've been doing more like nutrition content. You know, at least I've been seeing that being tagged in a lot of it. I want to know, like, because you do a lot of other stuff as well. I'm kind of curious because this is something we kind of do here on the podcast. We're like over half an hour in. What's some things you see like online that makes you just fucking roll your eyes into the back of your head where they sit there for 10 minutes and then you have to like manually push them back down? And so
The number of rage fueled drafts that get recorded, I rant about it, and then I just immediately delete because I'm scared my TikTok's going to get hacked and it's going to be published, and I don't need to be talking like that on the internet. Those are inside thoughts.
I love that.
I like that you deleted them because you don't, inside thought. Liam went and made a podcast and he airs them every week.
I will say I've had a few of those videos where I'm like, okay, I have calmed down now. Maybe I don't post this. Maybe I do redo it with a little less.
I think probably the things that will trigger me faster, the things that will cause me to be like, I need to say something about this, and then I can't say anything about it because first of all, I turned out fine. Did you though?
Oh God.
Yeah. We talked about this last week with Tommy. Yeah. It's always just like, well, it worked for me. And so that's just what we keep doing.
Right. And for a really long time, leeches were how we treated a lot of medical conditions. And let's discuss trephining. That was revolutionary at the time. We don't do that very often now.
With the old skeletons we have found with holes inside their skulls, because the idea was to release demons. You had to drill a little hole inside the skull. Yeah. And I love that idea, but I'm glad we stopped doing it eventually after hundreds, if not like thousands of years.
And here's the thing is some of those people with holes in their skulls, they did turn out fine.
Yeah.
They survived
and they did that
procedure.
to other people. Like, look, I'm fine. It worked for me. So we need more holes in skulls. This is
obviously. And then I also there is a movement in the whole from scratch thing. I love from scratch food.
Oh yeah.
But you don't need to make Fruit Loops. Bestie, if you want Fruit Loops, just go fucking buy Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
I recorded a video just today on somebody making their own coffee creamer. And they used condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk. I should specify sweetened condensed milk, and half. And it's like, yeah, that's what the coffee creamers on the shelf are basically.
Well, and here's the thing is what I will preface with. If you choose to do that, if that's just something that you prefer the taste, you prefer the texture, you just like spending your time doing that. I don't like gardening, but I'm not going to look at someone who loves gardening and go, well, that's weird because I don't like it. Ultimately, if you enjoy that, great. But most of the time when we're talking about someone making their own coffee creamer or making their own Fruit Loops, it's because they're demonizing the store-bought one. And for so many reasons, even moving beyond the nutrition value of the demonizing the chemicals, the demonizing the process, big creamer, I guess, big cereal.
I have heard big cereal, like realist. Anyway, go ahead.
I like big creamer.
I've heard a big creamer.
That's either a company or a good porn name.
I know, big creamer. That's what I was saying. I was like, big creamer. Oh boy, that's anyway. A different podcast.
Yeah.
But a lot of times those are combined with concerns about accessibility. It is really expensive to make homemade Fruit Loops with beet juice and banana powder, and yeah, they may taste. Honestly, I think they probably taste like ass, but maybe you like them.
I saw a video of a woman that made like cinnamon toast crunch, and it was so fun. She did this whole thing at the end. She's like, and it tastes terrible. And I made it. This I just tried. Like, and I was like, I have so much respect for someone that's just like not demonizing like any other ingredients. They're just like, I wanted to make this because like I wanted to try it. Absolutely. It seems fun. I had the ingredients, so like I'm just gonna do it. And then you try and you're like, it kind of tastes like butt, but you know, like I gave it a shot. Like I appreciate that. If you want to make your own Pop-Tarts, please go ahead. But that sounds like a nightmare to me. Like I'm not going to do that.
Don't go online and act like people who choose Pop-Tarts from the little foil package in the little blue box are less than or worse than.
That's the shit that just fucking grinds my gears to no end. It's just always just like, I care about my children, so I make my own Pop-Tarts from scratch. Bitch, holy shit! Like I don't do a lot of the videos because then my head goes very red and it's tough to see me. But like it's just so I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just it's so frustrating. Like it's unbelievably frustrating to me when I see shit like that.
Here's the thing that I am viscerally mad at you specifically, Liam. Because you, hold on, I'll get to you in a sec, Rob.
Oh, damn it.
You, that was mom
I'm
voice.
bringing these people to your attention. Fuck,
I'm grounded.
No, you are the reason I found Bear Bells, and I fucking hate you for it.
I'm assuming you like them too much.
Them.
They're so good.
No, and the reason I hate you over these is because they are so good. I have to limit. You don't need to eat 9 of these in a day, but they taste like candy.
They do taste the creamy crisp. I had one last night. Like, I mean, I was just
the Snickers one is my absolute. My husband has to take them. My husband has to take the Snickers ones, and it's the crunchy caramel peanut one. I forgot. Okay. They can't call it Snickers because right. But it tastes like a Snickers. And here's the thing. Again, with the food swaps, it does not taste exactly like a Snickers, but it does taste like candy.
Like some of their bars I taste, if I just picked up a random bar, like for some reason, you know, I do that when I'm out in the streets and I see a random bar, I just pick it up, I try.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we all do, I would be like, oh, that's a candy bar. Like that's clearly a candy bar. So whenever people ask me like, hey, I'm new to like this whole like fitness thing, like protein, I don't know. I'm like always like Bear Bells, like they're.
Pro tip: if you're new to protein and you've never had protein, this is the way I learned to eat protein bars. Even the shitty ones that sometimes you kind of have to like deal with because you were out of your regulars, stick them in the freezer. It reduces a lot of the chew at first, and you sort of get used to the flavor of it without all protein bars, even Bear Bells, have just a little bit of gumminess. It's inherent in adding that much protein.
It's could be the protein. There's only so much you can do. I'm curious. You're like, what are your like the protein things that like worked for you? Because me, I'm busted. I got into like the fitness world, and I started using like just Greek yogurt instead of everything, and then I kind of got used to. I kind of got used to that sort of stuff. And so like, you know, so I'm kind of curious from someone who's not in that sort of realm, who did not get ruined by the whole fitness industry.
Essentially, I kind of had to start at the bad end. And I say the bad end, again, we just had a conversation about good food and bad food, but there are definitely products on the market that are not the best representation of products on the market, but they are the most palatable in that they've got a ton of added sugar. So yeah, you're getting the protein, but you're also getting a ton of sugar.
Right. Yeah, it's a balance.
I had to start there, and sort of work my way down. Like once I got used to, I will feel full after this little bar for several hours. And when you've spent a lot of my eating disorder came from not having enough. I was never sure if I was going to get more than ramen or tuna because we grew up very, 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 very poor. And so there was this illusion of scarcity. And so what would happen is when I would get goodness, when we'd finally be able to afford peanut butter, I would eat the whole tub of peanut butter because I wasn't going to be able to get it again. And I wasn't getting food that was good for my brain because we couldn't afford it.
Right. I mean, just at that point, you just get what you can. But I mean, I
Right.
understand that scarcity. Like, I mean, when
Mhm.
you just used to not having a lot, you're just like, well, I don't know when I'm going to get this again. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna.
So I'm going to enjoy it in entirely too much all at once.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of had to start with, I started with the Premier protein bars.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
A lot of sugar in them, but a decent amount of protein. Now I'm down to, I went through the Quake. Quake was one of them. I don't recommend those. There's a Power Crisp. I really like the Power Crisps.
Power Crisp
High
isn't
in
bad.
sugar though.
Hmm.
There's
The only other bar that I found more recently that I really like is Fulfill. I recommend looking at that one. I don't know how much sugar is exactly in that one. Not a lot of fiber.
I have a drawer full of them, and now that I'm trying to think of them, I can't. But they're the refrigerated peanut ones. They're all peanut butter ones.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen. I don't know how much
Those are pretty good,
but I am kind of curious, like, what your thoughts. Did you find anything that kind of helped you get away from that kind of scarcity mentality? Was it just like coming
money.
to money? Good. No, I feel like that's always the answer to a lot of these, isn't it? It's always just like, oh, just have more money.
Just have more money.
It's so simple.
Wow.
That's money doesn't create happiness. That's only said by people who have always had money. No, a lot of that had to do with, there was a little bit of therapy in there, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
There's a little bit of therapy of, it's not gonna go away. Like,
absolutely.
you live in a first world country with resources at your disposal. It's not, you're fine. And a lot of that was, again, learning to appreciate my body as it is. This body has made with its own resources and a tiny amount of contribution from my partner, 3 children. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
This body has weathered a ton of different stuff. It has been in good places and bad places. It has let my mind experience roller coasters, and it has created books, and it has, like, my body has done wonderful things. And learning to appreciate my body, even as I'm working to change it, even as I'm working to help it function better. And that's another big mindset shift that is really approached. I'm not trying to look a certain way. I'm not trying to do a thing.
Yeah.
I just need it to be, I have 5-year-olds and I'm 40. I need to be able to, like, run alongside my kid going, yeah, buddy. Yeah. Now, if I were to try to do that, I would hurt myself.
And I think that comes back to, we talk about like goal setting a lot, and I really like that, because I hear from people who've lost a ton of weight and they're like, I'm down to this, but I still have so much more to go. I still have all this weight to lose. I'm like, that, if those end goals, like, I think it's great to have goals, but like, keep them, if you can keep them a little more realistic, I think you're gonna be able to achieve them easier, feel better, and just feel more comfortable with yourself. Like, yeah, I like that. I want to be able to keep up with, my kids. That's why I wanted to have my daughter. I just had my daughter. I'm 32. I was like, 32 is good. I don't want to wait too much longer later. Then I get older and I can't keep up with them. I need to be able to keep up with her. I need to have it young enough where I can actually still do things. Okay.
Yeah. I have, we're about to have storms come in. Just FYI, if I disappear, because
it's because the grocery store walkers got you.
Is the knee telling you that?
The things.
No, the power flickers are. I'm on a battery backup, so I won't dip. But no, but having what's called non-numerical goals.
Yes, I like that.
I'm a plus size woman, and currently my overarching goal is just to be able to keep up with my kids, to be able to do the things for my kids, to not have to look at my 17-year-olds and go, well, mommy thinks she's having a heart attack. Please take her to the hospital.
Yes.
Which weight loss is not a guarantee that won't happen, but weight loss does improve cardiovascular health. So, but right now my goal is to walk into a store and find an article of clothing that fits me, without having to go to the far back corner and look through the circus tents and tarps. No shade on plus size fashion, but Target, you know what you did.
Yeah, I mean,
Rob, Target is a store that we have in America.
Okay, it's kind of like Oh God, I don't know any Canadian stores, so I can't tell you what it's like, but it has things that you can buy.
Is it like Jim Bob's down the road there?
Jim Bob's.
Do they sell bras, Rubbermaid totes, and oat milk? Then yes.
No, they just sell
that's
mixed
exactly
vegetables.
What it is.
Just- oh gosh. Listen, I feel bad for Canada because every time I post something, I'm like, oh, this protein powder is expensive. They're like, a tub of protein powder costs me $500 in Canada. So I'm struggling. I'm like,
$500, that's cheap.
Exactly. All the Canadian listeners, all jokes aside, that shit sucks. And I'm sorry, because it seems like everything's expensive as fuck over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand the currency exchange either.
I don't. And listen, they got monopoly money over there. We don't understand anything about them. It's really fucking colorful and weird.
And it's plastic.
Oh shit. But yeah, so I mean, I know. So was there anything else in the, you kind of roll your eyes? Because I like these are my kind of favorite discussions. You know, just like, oh man, I see that every time. I'm just like, oh, I gotta fucking this shit again. Because I got plenty of that stuff.
Well, I mean, as far as my regular content, not having to do with food and eating.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like parenting in general or whatever, like all that stuff.
Anytime we put a kiddo up in distress, not fake distress. I mean, there's fake distress where they are worried about something that is in effect silliness. I'm more or less okay with that. Like, why are you crying? The sky is so beautiful. Yeah, okay, right. I love this for you, kiddo.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why it's evoking such strong emotion, but let's roll with it. But I saw a video of a parenting choice that I would not have made, and that's the nicest way I can say it. I guess Boyo did not have his listening ears on. He was told to get in the car after what looked to be a t-ball or a baseball game. And so mom got in the car and drove away. Now, she didn't drive very far, but she did give what appeared to be a 6 or 7-year-old boy a slight panic attack, and he is running after his mother's vehicle going, "Mama, stop!" He doesn't know the boundaries to that. So I was like, you know what? And then the comment section is what killed me, because they're like, that's real parenting. Is it?
I see that. Yeah. Like that kid's going to grow up tough, you know, like that sort of shit. And you're just like,
that kid's going to grow up with issues.
Yeah. Why do you have abandonment issues? I don't know. It's weird.
And here's the thing: is one of the things that's glazed over a lot in parenting conversations and parenting spaces is resiliency. Just the same way as our bodies all process. Liam is never going to look like The Rock. Rob, maybe, but Liam's never going to look like The Rock. Your genetics are working.
Are you saying I'm balding?
No, that's what it is.
It's the balding.
It's the beard.
Yeah. I think that's important to note on, because especially, I don't know, for like coming from, you know, my background, just being like a young male, you know, getting into the fitness space, you know, a lot of this is just like focused on like just getting huge and like, you know, and it's very prevalent on social media now, performance enhancing drugs, right? You know, just like trying to get as big as possible. And what really helped me eventually was when I just saw people talking about like, hey, it's like, it's your genetics. You're just going to be kind of like, you can fight against it to a certain extent. You know, you can do things, but like, yeah, you'll never be, you know, you're never going to be one of these bodybuilders that are 300 pounds lean. Like, it's just, it's not going to happen. Like and to be comfortable with that, I was like, you know what? I'm just like the tall, kind of lanky guy. I'm just going to do what I can. And like, I just enjoyed the process a lot more after that.
Well, and my husband is one of those who he packs on muscle via weight. Like, he looks like at his peak fitness, he looks like the world's strongest men competitors, where they just all look like they ate a cheeseburger and then lifted a semi truck.
Right. That's one of the events.
Their body shape is not what is determining their strength or how they understand how to move their body or how they understand how to fuel their body. It's one of the things every time I make a video about, that's another thing that triggers the fuck out of me. When I make a video talking about food, inevitably the comments are like, bitch, you're fat. What do you know? All right. I
Always,
need you to
Oh,
know
God.
something about career
Always.
fats. All right.
Yeah.
We know so much more about nutrition than most regular people who have never had to think about their fucking weight. We fucking know.
Oh
I
yeah,
made that a 3-syllable word for you fucks. We know.
I mean, let me. I mean, I'm gonna be. I've like I said, I've always been one of those people that was very lanky. I didn't fucking know shit about any. I was just like, oh yeah, you just eat. Like it's not that complicated. You just eat frozen pizzas, sodas, and I just remained lean. Like that's just how it was. And so, it's one of the I see that a lot, and it's so fresh. And like I guess we're
that's another one that drives me nuts. I'm sorry, I just cut you
yeah.
off.
1 second, no, but just fucking. I just thought of another one when I see like people who are larger exercising, and then they always get shit for it, and I'm just like. What do you want? What do you want? Because it seems like all you want is just for people who have obese people to go away. Like that's all. Like that's all. I'm just like God. Like they're just living their lives. And okay, listen, I'm done after this. I promise, I'm done after this. But like the whole like they're talking about like they're just forcing it in our faces. Like the what the fuck is the term where they were saying like
fat phobia?
Not fat phobia. Where they're saying just like they're trying to make everyone else like fuck, what I brain no work. It's late and I'm tired and I don't know. Where they're trying to say like people who are fat are just trying to promoting obesity. I just literally forgot that. Like I don't know why my brain just like sometimes you forget the word door and you're like the thing with the handle. Promoting.
I was sitting here waiting for you to finish the sentence so I can figure out what you're talking about.
At no point did you give either of us context clues.
There's
where you were trying
my
to go
brain
there,
is
bud.
going 10 miles a minute. I don't know if that's fast. That's not even fast. It doesn't matter. They say they're promoting obesity. Yeah, so the whole promoting obesity, and I'm like, that's a person just living their life. Like that's just a person who has like excess body fat, and you think they're promoting it because they're now selling like plus size workout wear? Like I'm so confused. Like that's the shit that just it annoys me to no end.
I watched a video of a girl who was outside her what appeared to be her house, and she had gotten those step hurdles that just run over them.
Okay.
And she was doing it, and she was doing it admittedly poorly, and she knew that she was doing it poorly. She made no bones about it. But she was a plus size girl, and the comment section was once again the most disappointing experience. They're like, "Oh my God, get in the gym, bitch! What do you think she's doing?"
I know.
No kidding.
That's the sort of shit that just fucking annoys me to no end, man.
Yeah.
Like what do you want?
It doesn't feel like there's a point at which you win. And then what I see from the other side, I have several friends, several influencers, Courtney, Mama Jill, they have gone through extreme transformations, and they're up to the point where they're getting the paniculectomies, which is where you remove the excess skin from the abdomen. They're getting the fleur de lis, where you're removing the skin from the chest and from the underarm. When you're fat, that skin stretches and it doesn't always snap back. And so they're getting these procedures that are still for their health. If you were extremely plus size and you got down to a straight size, that paniculectomy can develop sores. It can develop rashes. It's a breeding ground for all sorts of bacteria that you don't want. But then people are like, "Oh God, you're just vain." Oh my God!
Holy shit! Like, what do you want? Like, it's always comes down to
they
what do
did
you
the thing.
want?
They ate the fucking salad. They went to the fucking gym, and now they're vain. Oh my God!
Like it always comes down back to me. Like I'm just staring at the comments. Like, what do you want? What do you like? What the fuck do you want? It just seems like nothing is ever. And that's the thing. Like to anybody out there who's like trying to make like make it on social media and like and make videos, all that good stuff. People will always find something to be pissed about. It doesn't fucking matter what it is. People will always be mad. And I've found that I just embrace that shit and read the comments like on my videos and stuff. And I have fun with it because like it's never going away. It's always
those people are the ones that had their parents drive away from them when they were kids.
Maybe it is. Maybe those are the people. Maybe that would explain it.
But they turned out fine.
They turned out fine, and they're going to do it to their kids too.
And the cycle continues.
Shit. Gosh. So
that's what we mean by breaking generational cycles, generational trauma.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really sorry someone really hurt you, but the answer is not to try to hurt me. I am a millennial. You can't hate me harder than I have hated myself.
Oh, my
I am a fat millennial woman. Bring it, bitch.
Oh gosh. But I mean, I will say, like, it seems like you're getting a lot more, positive, more positivity, and the videos that some of these, the videos that have covered from you is some, some about some of my followers, like, favorites, like they love, just being able to see people, different bodies, different people, just like coming together and just like, can we just agree on this shit? Like, can we just keep it simple? These foods, every food is good in its own way, or, just, I don't know. All is lost. That's basically my whole point of this. Like, it's just
the bleakness of reality is setting in.
This is what social media does to you, folks.
Yeah.
You stay on social media too long as a creator and you just hate humanity, even though you keep trying to make it better. You're trying to help it and you're like, this is pointless. This is fruitless. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about how not to fuck up protein brownies. Let's go.
Hey, bitch, why is your oven dirty? Oh, God, I try. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'll see if I can do better in the future. Cry.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fat. Oh, really? Wow. Is that what that is? Shit. Know that? Thank you for informing me, Sir Reddit.
Oh, shit.
If I knew this is the way the conversation was going, I would have had us all gather a bunch of the comments from our haters and we could read each other's.
Oh, yeah, just go. Next time, we'll just read each other. I got plenty of those. I got so many. I am just supporting big food. Big food is there to make everyone sick and fat, and so they can make
One
money.
Time I told people that I give my children a multivitamin. The way people flipped out, and listen, the vitamin industry is questionable in some places, but like, one of my kids is a super adventurous eater and will eat sushi and just asks for seaweed sheets. Like, just enjoy snacking on those.
Hey, I like nori.
I do like
I
nori.
love nori.
I didn't like it at first, but eventually you just get used to it, and that's how I do most things in life. Go ahead.
My current favorite, good for my brain, good for my body, is salmon that I do. I just take it straight out of the freezer and into the air fryer. One of those zip top bags or one of the little canisters of jasmine rice.
What are your seasonings? What are your seasonings of choice? What do you
Furikake, which is a Japanese sesame and nori season.
I'm glad you defined that because it was a little iffy.
Yep. Nori, and I will put lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper's so good. Yeah. You know what I like? Brown sugar, because I'm trying to feed all the cancers in my body. That's No, but really, a little bit of
all I can
sugar.
think of right now is wanting to masticate some photokaki.
You were working over there trying to get it together.
He was waiting for that opening.
That's our next shirt. That's our next shirt right there.
And then a sriracha and really, really bougie soy sauce. I love soy sauce. I will eat the heck out of Great Value soy sauce, but for this particular dish, the really nice fermented, I get mine from World Market, but the really nice fermented soy sauce, it's thicker. It's not as thick as sriracha, but it's a little thicker. It's more like watered down barbecue sauce, if that makes sense, than it is soy
I think
sauce.
I'll have to try it because I've never had like fancy.
I have to ask.
Sauce.
Is you said like World Market, something like that?
Yeah.
Is World Market like Jim Bob's down the street?
If Jim Bob's sold imports from countries that aren't Canada, yeah.
I like that you only have Jim Bob's. That's the only place Canada has. This is that one store. Is it Jim like Bob's. That? Yeah. Dick's Sporting Goods.
Everybody takes
Tim
the one
Hortons.
highway to Jim Bob's.
You could ask Timmy over at Tim Hortons if they have the fancy soy sauce.
See,
they might.
That's Canadian. We know things.
There we go. Get some soy sauce from Timmy's. Do you want a double with that?
Look, I'm going to start a fight with Canada. I bet if you like drink the coffee and then like let it sit and ferment, it would probably come out about the same. I don't like Tim Hortons coffee. It tastes burnt. I'm so sorry, Canada. You're doing it wrong.
They're
Ever
double.
since-
I have angered an entire half of a continent. I know Mexico's down there in the south.
Like
but
the thing is, like Timmy's got bought out by an American company like
did
a
it?
couple decades ago.
no, it makes
and
sense.
Yeah,
We fucked a thing up again. That's
Yeah,
fine.
you-
That's
you fucked
par
a thing
for
up.
us.
yeah.
That checks out. Capitalism, baby.
I'll own that. I'll own that.
How can we make it
patriotic
cheaper?
brethren.
How can we... oh shit. No?
So, but yeah, that's been my go-to, and it is
Okay.
my favorite. But I posted that, and someone's like, "That fish wasn't ethically raised." I don't.
I was just about to make a joke about like, was it farm raised? Because you can't have that.
Farm raised
Always.
and maple fed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
shit.
there's no winning. Okay.
There's no and it's just like people like holy shit, like it's really not complicated. Like we talk about this all the time. Like when it comes like what Whole Foods should you focus on? Literally whatever the fuck you
Whatever
want.
they sell
like,
at Erewhon.
It's the air.
Is that like Jim Bob's?
That's like Jim
If
Bob's
Jim
if it
Bob's
was
charged 17 times the actual value of things, yes.
Do you
Oh,
like
that's
paying
just Canada.
Yeah, Erewhon is Canada right now. It's $40 for a loaf of bread. Holy shit.
$42 for strawberries and blueberries, but they did already cut the strawberries up for you.
Is that in freedom units or Canadian?
Canadian.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's about right. Yep.
Holy shit. I mean, there's I keep getting tagged as one plastic surgeon. Like he's a plastic surgeon. He keeps telling people what to eat and what to avoid. And he's like, I shop at Erewhon. I'm like, why are we listening to plastic
We're in different
surgeons
tax brackets, buddy.
telling us
I bought my
what to
salmon
eat?
from Walmart, the
know.
freezer section. I
It's
live in a
like, I
landlocked
shop
state.
at
all right?
Erewhon. Stop, avoid seed oils, diet soda, and make sure you buy wild caught salmon from Erewhon. Fuck off. Like, holy shit.
Listen, Whole Foods is one of those places that I wave as I drive by because I will never afford to eat there.
Oh, gosh.
Erewhon is just not. I don't.
They do sell
understand
raw
how it's
milk
working.
though, so in case you're curious. Oh,
It's a fascinating space over in mine because I have the added benefit of the entire raw milk debate added to the breast milk debate.
oh, you get a
God.
mixing.
Mhm.
That's fun.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I seriously watched a video and then promptly had to go throw up where she's like, okay, so I understand that raw milk can carry some health risks. I was like, a lot of health risks. It carries a lot of health risks. Don't eat the raw milk.
Just a few.
Louis Pasteur was onto something, but yeah, no, go ahead. Just rewind the clock. Don't learn from history at all. Enjoy your rabid diarrhea. She's like, well, we counteract those by adding breast milk. Not very much. It doesn't taste. It doesn't change the flavor.
Oh gosh.
So you're
all is
taking
lost.
bodily fluid from
All is
a
lost.
cow
Oh,
and adding bodily fluid from a human, and that just magically makes it totally safe to consume.
We should
didn't you
just all
hear?
give
Breast
up.
milk is the cure for tuberculosis.
That's what.
Listen, I fully support breastfeeding. I completely understand, breast milk has a lot of purposes, especially for the humans it was specifically created for. As in, I am not shitting on breast milk at all. I am saying that adding breast milk to raw milk does not make raw milk safer.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
Doesn't do it.
people want raw milk no matter what. They'll do anything. I gotta say, that's one of the things. That's
Oh,
another
man.
thing that drives me fucking insane in the nutrition spaces. I've seen a bunch of these grocery store walkers talking about how formula is filled with seed oils. Oh my god, it's got sugar in it, guys. Did you know that fucking formula
Wait until
has
you
sugar
hear what
in
the
it?
recommended lactation diet is. Basically just oats. Oats. That's
Oh,
Oatmeal,
shit.
everything. Oat milk.
Gosh.
Just oats.
All the
Oats and
glycemic.
sugar,
Oh,
protein.
you do not know breast milk has sugar in it, and like there's like, oh, you're
a lot of
you're
sugar in it.
fear mongering sugar.
I'm pretty sure they
It's
have no
so-
idea what lactose is.
Oh gosh. Oh, it's so sad. If you told them what's galactose, they probably just say an outer space robot or some shit like that. It's all is lost. I'm just gonna keep saying that. That's how I feel.
The raw milk debate. Also, I was slightly horrified at the concept of making cheese with breast milk. I'm like, all right, well, I love that journey for you.
Yeah.
What? At what point did someone?
I'm gonna be honest. That's never come across my brain. That idea has never even remotely entered my thought process.
Yeah.
No, can't say it has.
Cheese with breast milk.
I guess
apparently
it's
is possible.
I'm assuming
Dude,
it's a little
I
sweeter.
don't. I have no idea. I didn't make things
it
with my
How-
breast
what
milk.
do you
I just
mean?
fed my children until it ran out. I tapped out and then we were done. That was the end of my breastfeeding experience. I don't know what the breast milk.
Well, I guess we got to get on it, Liam. Start pumping.
I would need to know what cheesy breast milk. Oh, God.
All right.
All right.
To the audience, I'm going to make two grown men feel very uncomfortable. The same person who made cheese with their breast milk also used regular milk and their downstairs yeast.
That's what that can't be there's a limit to
They
stupidity.
gave themselves thrush, by the way. Just FYI.
Oh, God.
I mean,
That is the sound of uncomfortableness.
I saw a comment. People tagged me in a comedy bit where someone was like, I made cinnamon rolls out of my yeast infection. And they were just regular cinnamon rolls. Like, it was all a joke. And I was like, haha, that's kind of funny. Like, at least I get that. It's kind of horrifying, but also a little... No, I refuse to believe there's anything that's reality to that. That's probably where they got the idea.
All is lost, I believe.
All is lost. It's all lost. That's what, when you're on social media... That's the attitude you have to have. But you keep plugging along.
This episode got so weird so quick. I'm so sorry.
I fully anticipated.
I'm
going to
go cry in a corner now.
I fully expected that to happen.
This is what you get when you have chronically online people. Chronically online people. Go, please, people, go.
Chronically online sounds so much like it sounds like chronically ill.
Chronically online, yeah.
Chronically online.
I think they open for Moist in Canada. Chronically online.
You can buy the album at Jim Bob's.
Chronically online. No, we want Moist. All right. So, Momma Cusses, where can people find you? Where on the social medias?
As long as you promise not to make shitty comments on my. I have enough. Thank you. I am Momma Cusses on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I am Pleasant Peasant Media on the tube of YouTube.
Oh.
I just automatically filtered that as if the TikTok censors were going to catch me saying YouTube and strip down the distribution on YouTube. Yeah, please follow me everywhere but TikTok. I love TikTok, but I live in America.
Well, at least you still get paid for TikTok.
Still,
I don't get paid for TikTok.
You don't get paid for TikTok.
Mm-mm.
Are you not in? You never entered the little, what is it, the creativity program?
I did, but the drop in distribution was not worth the pennies they were paying me. YouTube pays me better.
There you go. Well, there you go. Follow
there you
on
go.
you. Follow it on the U of Tube.
On the tube of you.
Tube of you. There we go.
And you can find Moist on any music platform.
Also, tiny shout out. You can also pick up my book, Momma Cusses, A Field Guide to Responsible Parenting and Trying Not to Be the Reason Your Kids Need Therapy. There's absolutely no discussion of breast milk cheese or yeasty rolls in that book.
Well, now I'm sold.
It's available most places you buy your book. In Canada, probably at Jim Bob's. The United States, UK, and I believe EU now. I think it's available in the EU, but it's only in English. So if you don't speak English, I'm sorry.
If you don't speak English and you're listening to this podcast, kudos to you. That's fucking phenomenal.
AI translators exist. Don't. Wow, Liam's showing his whole hand about AI. Wow,
is that a thing? I don't understand AI. I know it's going to take over and it's going to kill all of us, but that's all I know.
A friend of mine, I'm not nice to my AI assistants. Like I've got an Amazon device, and when she doesn't listen, I backtalk her. And they're like, when the robots rise up, I want to be one of the first to go. I don't want to live through that hellscape. I need Siri and Alexa to just be personally offended by my existence and take me out early.
Piss off Skynet as much as you possibly can right now. Hey, wasn't that a great time? Listen to the podcast. I'm assuming you were just listening to In Moderation. So if you go ahead and hit the 5-star button, is that a thing? The like button?
That's a thing. Yep.
The like button
5
on
stars.
YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. Not the dislike button. That's a bad button. The
Bad
like
button.
Bad
Don't
button.
touch.
Hit
Don't
all the other buttons. The share. You can go check out
all those things.
Subscribe. Go check out our Patreon. Yeah. We do have a Patreon. It's free to join if you want, or you could give us some money. That'd be really cool, like $1 or $2. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have.
That's where you'll find all the news for this.
We're super appreciative. You can find all sorts of other stuff there. We do giveaways. I think sometimes.
Sometimes.
All that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, peace.